Gwinnett Medical Center is now entering Peachtree Corners. Conveniently located in the heart of this thriving community, our new center offers first-rate primary care and specialty services, including cardiology, gastroenterology, neurology, OBGYN, orthopedics, 3D mammography, and X-ray. Learn more about how GMC is making industry-leading healthcare more convenient than ever at gwinnettmedicalcenter.org/PTC.
Well, I like to think about it in a theoretical way where we really just provide the backdrops of people's memories. You have your holidays, you have your holiday pictures and all the memories that you have. Where the lighting behind that? Where what brings out the emotion? Where the ones that bring about the feeling of the season? By seeing our lights in different areas, it really brings about that Christmas spirit and gets people in the mood, whether it be to shop or to come in and spend more time with the family, or to create those memories. And that's really the main point of what we do and what we like to do.
You're with The Capitalist Sage, a twice-a-month podcast that seeks out entrepreneurs and experts that speak to the real-world life of doing business for their sage advice. Now, with your hosts, Karl Barham and Rico Figliolini.
Welcome to The Capitalist Sage podcast. We are here to bring you advice and tips from seasoned pros and experts to help you improve your business. I'm Karl Barham with Transworld Business Advisor. My co-host is Rico Figliolini with Mighty Rockets Digital Marketing and the publisher of the Peachtree Corner magazine. Hey, Rico, how you doing today?
Good, Karl. Lots of things going on.
Absolutely. Why don't we start off by introducing some of our fabulous sponsors?
Sure. So the first thing I should say is Atlanta Tech Park, which is where we are in this podcast studio. We're doing the recording here in the city of Peachtree Corners. Atlanta Tech Park is an accelerator, right? You go from a startup place, that's the incubator, to an accelerator, that's the next step for a growing company. And they have, I don't know how many thousands of square feet here, but they have enough event facilities. They run workshops. They run things with funding and venture capitalists.
Absolutely. There's a cyber event coming up, I think, later on. Fintech that's coming up later this week. Just fabulous stuff to get connected into the technology and business community here in Peachtree Corners.
So anything you need to, fund your business even. I mean, they do some of that pitch stuff.
Friday morning, pitch Fridays.
So in our other sponsors, GMC or Gwinnett Medical, which just got bought up by Northside Hospital, by the way. So, but it's the place that just opened. It's the GMC Primary Care and Specialty Center on Peachtree Parkway, next to Planet Smoothie and the QT. And it's a great place. We just interviewed Dr. Barbara Joy Jones just last week. So you can find that podcast, by the way, online. But they're a sponsor as well.
Oh, fabulous, fabulous. And I think in the next week we have
Smart City Expo.
Coming up. Excited about that.
It's going to be great. You, me, Patrizia Winsper, who's a writer for Peachtree Corners magazine. We're all going to be attending that expo.
Absolutely. And it's going to be kind of looking at smart technologies and cities. And I think Peachtree Corner is going to be featured there.
That's right. So the first day, which is the 11th, it's 11th, 12th, and 13th. So the first day is going to be, we're going to have, and I think it's the only off-demo site for that expo. And there are going to be people from all over the world and the country visiting, and we're going to be showing off our 1.5-mile autonomous vehicle track, along with a couple of special surprises and stuff like that going on. But there's quite a few things. I mean, to be having that in this city, when they do a World Congress of this in Barcelona, first time in the United States. So it's
so much fun stuff happening here. Curiosity Lab at Peachtree Corners, highlighting technology, showing how a city can continue to grow and innovate on itself. And one of the things that's great about this business community here, we've got lots of entrepreneurs in the business community. And today it's an absolute pleasure to have Bill Frey from Illuminating Design, a local entrepreneur, business owner here that combines technology and art to create amazing lighting displays for holiday seasons, for a variety of cities, commercial customers, just help them really celebrate the holiday season or whatever festivity they may be having through innovative lighting displays, design and displays. So really glad to have you here, Bill, to tell us a little bit about how you do that and how you're able to make clients super happy with their displays and help attract people to come see them. Why don't we start by you telling us a little bit about yourself?
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I appreciate the time and being out here. This is a great thing that you guys do, and I'm very happy to be part of it. Well, I graduated from Clemson University and went back to Georgia State to get a master's degree in marketing, and found that the corporate world wasn't really for me. I had the advantage of being in a management position at a very young age. However, when you're dealing with people that are older and have been in the work environment a lot longer than you have, they tend not to take your idea so seriously. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I'd always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and that kind of really pushed me to do it. I was young, didn't have any kids, didn't have a family, didn't have any responsibilities, so I was able to easily take the jump. Wow. I worked for a gentleman that had a holiday lighting company, mm-hmm. and saw an opportunity where the market really wasn't being taken care of. Saw opportunities for better customer service, better pricing, and really just better know-how on doing the holiday and event lighting. There were a lot of missed opportunities before, and this was back in 2004. So back then there were maybe a handful of companies out there. Now, recently, there's been more people jumping into the industry because they see what a good industry it can be and the opportunities that are there.
Fabulous. Well, for those that may not know, describe what holiday lighting is and how businesses like yours help clients.
Well, I like to think about it in a theoretical way where we really just provide the backdrops of people's memories. You have your holidays, you have your holiday pictures and all the memories that you have. We're the lighting behind that. We're what brings out the emotion. We're the ones that bring about the feeling of the season. By seeing our lights in different areas, it really brings about that Christmas spirit and gets people in the mood, whether it be to shop or to come in and spend more time with the family, or, to create those memories. And that's really the main point of where, what we do and what we like to do.
Okay. So what made you choose to go into this industry? You worked for a company that did that before, but how did you feel that you can make it different or make a difference in this industry?
For a long time, it was kind of like Henry Ford used to say, you can have any colors as long as you want it black. Mm-hmm. And that's not really the way the design and the lighting goes. We saw, if you drive up and down and you look at different Christmas displays and holiday displays, a lot of them are very similar. They use the same products, same techniques. And we found ways to be a little more creative, to use an artistic side to it, to add pops of color here and there, to add different elements that people wouldn't necessarily think of. By being Christmas 365 days a year versus the other companies that are really doing it as a seasonal job, we have the ability to research and work with worldwide vendors, find the best products, and really find what suits you as the client. We use multiple vendors and we find the best fit for the client. We don't lock you into proprietary software. We use all open source software, and it's really giving the client the options again, giving them their voice in what they want. And a lot of people may not know what their voice should be saying, but we help bring it out what they want. So we have about 20 questions or so that we start our conversations with the clients to get them to kind of relax a little bit and to get into their own design mind of what they like. Are they symmetric people? Do they like the right and left to balance? Do they want heavily daytime decor? Do they want nighttime decor? Are they a less is more person and more is more person?
Do you handle things like also like, you know how the fireworks, you can do that electronically now, right? I mean, is it all app-based? How do you do your setup on something like that?
There are some app-based programs. What we find is a lot of those are limited. We actually use a program for our programming side, open source software called Xlights. Okay. And it's based loosely on, in my opinion of it at least, it's based loosely on Matrix, which is used for stage lighting. And that's what I originally started with. Cool. So our philosophy is we take the stage lighting and event lighting and everything and bring that into holiday shows. We go to concerts and say, you know what, that's cool. We like that. How can we bring that out? How can we make that relate to the holidays?
So you're creating as you're going, almost in a way, right? I mean, because
Very
every
so.
year is a little different.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the one thing we want. Our philosophy is if you dream it, we can make it happen.
Right.
And that's what we try to do. We've had some wild concepts come to us that we're working through. A fun project we're working on now is we're working with a couple people to create art pieces with LED background lighting for it. So they actually, it's not a stagnant picture any longer.
Right.
So you'll have color flashes that'll change. Say it's a series of umbrellas, and the umbrella will change colors. And something
so
like
are you
that.
finding technology useful? I mean, you've been in the business for a while now. So has technology helped you do your work better even?
I think so. I think it's really cool. Some of the stuff that we're putting out. We work with on one of our big displays. We made, they were 15 by 25 foot light panels that we broadcast massive displays across. So imagery, it adds the motion, the imagery. So it's not as stagnant.
Right.
It used to be the only movement you had was twinkle lights. Every now and then one would twinkle in. If you had your strand of incandescents, put the wrong bulb in, they'd all start twinkling on you, and they didn't like that.
Do you do other things besides the lighting as well, like mechanical stuff or other?
Some of the pieces we have, we can add motion to it if need be. Haven't had the opportunity to. In our warehouse, yes, we have plenty of that. Haven't found the client yet that wants something with that much movement. With more movement comes sometimes more issues, and they're afraid of that for a short-term installation.
Sure. I remember growing up in New York, the Rockefeller Center display was always a centerpiece, and people would, for years, you'd go and visit, and it would attract people to that display. You fast forward 20, 30 years later, you see more places using lighting and holiday kind of spirit to attract people to there. Do you find that clients get a lot of success by investing in these kind of displays to help attract folks?
Definitely. It's funny that you bring up Rockefeller Center because that is one of the reasons I'm in the business. My grandparents lived in New York, and I would go see it as a child, and it's one of my fondest memories as a child. And I've always said if I ever get the Rockefeller Center tree, I'd be done.
You've reached the pinnacle.
I've reached the pinnacle. What more can I do at that point? But yeah, we see. It's interesting because the first. The first exposure I had to that, where it was really helping out to increase revenues and things like that, was during the recession, 2008. And when I noticed a lot of people were cutting back on what they were doing. Obviously, they were concerned about what was going on in the world and with the market and everything like that. But what it did was allow me to kind of recenter our company and to see what's going on out in the world. And neighborhood fronts. You had homes that were diminishing massively in value, and people were fighting against each other to sell their houses. So the first exposure was we started decorating neighborhood fronts. And by giving the exposure at nighttime to those neighborhoods, it gave them more name recognition, allowed the home values to, I'm not going to say they stayed where they were in 2006, but they did not decrease as much because you had the talk about the word of mouth going around about what they were doing and that the community looked nicer. People were doing a lot of cutting back. So we worked with our clients at those points to allow them to have those exposures and that. And also, you see a definitive difference in shopping centers. When you go out during the holidays, a shopping center that is not decorated. It's like any other time of the year. You go in there and you spend what you would. Holidays are all about excess. And that's for a lot of people. It's about they eat too much, they shop too much, they drink too much, they do everything too much. And that's what having the lighting really evokes that feeling of peace and euphoria and good times and cheers.
Especially during the holiday season, if you think about it. If you live up north where it's snow, you feel Christmas coming around, you feel the holiday. If you live in a warmer climate, you don't have the snow.
It's not the same.
So the lights is something that could still connect people that you could tell it's a different time of year. If you have little kids, I know during winter, folks don't go out as much. But if they'll drive around the neighborhoods and see the houses that are doing the better displays.
So do you find then that, because I totally agree with you, I mean, living in New York and Brooklyn, everyone hung their lights and stuff. But it didn't matter. If it snowed, it was Christmas. You knew it was coming. Down here, so different. The hurricane's coming, God forbid. But so you're lighting are you lighting like throughout the year as well?
We do. Most of our work is done during the holiday season. We do also work with events and facilities and things. If they have larger events going on, we'll go out there and help them. What we can do is year round. We've really created a niche in the Christmas market though. We've worked on some of the largest shows around the Southeast, and we have really made our names for ourselves in the Christmas area. There are a lot of companies out there that do events. They have a lot of big products, and it's kind of a different product base that we have, but it is still possible. We have a lot, maybe 50% of it transfers over, which allows us the opportunity to go and decorate for some weddings or big corporate parties or 4th of July. We got to go up to one of the really neat things we got to do is we went up to Knoxville and lit up the Sun Sphere from the World's Fair. And for it was, I want to say their 250th anniversary. And we had the lights rotate around red, white, and blue, and they'd rotate around the Sun Sphere. And just so happened to be the year that Pat Summitt passed away. And we were able to dial in the Tennessee Orange and light up the Sun Sphere in orange in honor of her, which was a really, really a neat and impactful moment for us.
How did you get command over the technology? Because it sounds like you got to know a little bit about design, artistic design, but also to program, to figure out what pieces go together, to integrate all that.
You hire the right people, to be honest with you. I dabble in the programming. I like to say I'm good at it. But I brought somebody into the company that has extensive background in it, and he and Tim Griffith, and he is phenomenal at what he does. And we work together, and it's kind of where yin and yang. I'm the artistic side, he's the detail process side. So we bounce off each other in very, very great ways.
So you can envision what you want, and he's sort of implementing it.
Yeah, I come to him all the time and say, I want to see this. And he kind of looks at me and goes, all right, give me an hour. and it's great because, it takes him out of his comfort zone, and I'm asking for elaborate things, and we kind of bounce ideas off. And I know enough to give suggestions about different ways to look at it rather than the engineering side. Look at it from this direction and see if it changes some things.
Are you seeing the technology in lighting itself? Like LED's been around for a while, right? But are you seeing that changing? Are you seeing anything new coming?
Yeah, actually, yeah. And that's one of the things is, and we've had to kind of adapt our company because of it. It's, LEDs, incandescent LEDs is the first change in lighting in how many years? Forever,
Decades,
basically.
yeah.
So what do you think? Okay, well, LEDs are going to be here for a while, and this is how it's going to be. Well, now they're moving on to low voltage. So low voltage gives you, obviously you're running less amps. Thus, you're having less, when you have a power spike because of rain or something like that, there's less fluctuation. So it doesn't trip your GFI. So low voltage lighting is exactly what your landscape lighting runs on. So you don't have problems with that normally when it rains, but your holiday lights you occasionally do. And that's honestly a problem. If you have a GFI and it's put in there and it's working right, and your lights go out because of rain, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to, but nobody wants their lights out. And you can't tell somebody, well, you know what? Sorry your lights are out, but that's doing exactly what you want. So we figure out ways to work around that. And when we were working at Atlanta Botanical Gardens for 4 years, we had, I'll never say 100%. So 99.9999% on rate. I cannot remember or do not recall or was not told of any situation where the lights went out with a low voltage.
So you can use technology to help make them more robust and bring all those. When you think about the business side of this, when you started this out, anything that you learned along the way that you think would help someone else that was thinking of starting a business?
Yes, a 22-year-old does not know everything. I learned that one very quickly. And you learn to trust your support system. And that's the foundation of how you're going to be successful in business. If you don't have a strong support system with you, with family, friends, people that believe in you and that are going to pick you up when you get knocked down and say, hey, you know what, let's get up tomorrow and let's try it again. That's crucial. If you don't have that, you're off on an island, and it becomes extremely difficult.
What is it like doing business here in Georgia, or at least in this part of Georgia here? Have you found there being any advantages of being in a community like Peachtree Corners?
Yeah, there's, one, that it's a newer city. So there's a lot that the city's doing that we can help out with. We're actually working in the new city center this year, which will be great. We're very happy about that. I was actually, as soon as I heard it was starting to be built, I started calling because it's a project I want to be part of. To me, the community is important. The community's given me and myself, my family, so many opportunities. My children go to school here. Their friends go to school. I coach soccer here. So being part of this community is a great, great thing. I even moved my office over here from Norcross. So we'd be a little more local and be tied in more to the business community in Peachtree Corners.
Oh. Are you part of any of the business associations here locally? What are some of the things that you've been able to gain in the relationships you built through those?
Some contacts, and that's really important is that you find out more so than business contacts, it's personal contacts. People that have gone through what you do. As an entrepreneur, it's very difficult for people to understand your day-to-day, what you wake up dealing with, what you go to bed dealing with, what problems you have. And you know what? None of us here are recreating the wheel. Whatever business process we're working on, whatever situation we're dealing with, somebody else has dealt with. We're not the first ones to go through it. So why not ask for feedback? Why not say, hey, let's go get coffee and let's talk about a couple things. What's troubling you? What's troubling me? What can we help each other work through? And you never know who's going to have that opinion or that little nugget of advice that really helps you out.
Let me ask you something, if you don't mind. It's a seasonal business.
Yes.
So the one thing that struck me, like urban growers, they have a cycle, a season. Although they, if I remember right, they said there's really no season because they can keep growing through the year. How does that work in a business where it's more seasonal? How does that impact like revenue, income? How do you budget the company out? How do you keep staff where they need to be, I guess, or
that's
not?
One of the harder pieces. That's if I knew all the answers to that, it'd be uber successful. We're not doing bad, but it is difficult. The seasonality of the business makes it difficult for staffing. You have what we do is we have a core group of people. That those are our people that we bring in. Then we wind up bringing in revenue producers, the guys that are actually doing the install. But we bring the team of leaders in before that. We spend about a month with them and training them on what we are, who we are, going around and seeing the jobs. So we catch them up to speed on what's being produced. Then we bring the next team in and do our OSHA training and all those things. So it's a lot of times it's recreating the wheel each time. Like it's restarting the process each year. But we're fortunate enough that each year we have some residual people that come back. We try to find business owners that may have another business that their seasonality goes a little bit lower at that point in time. So we kind of work together in that aspect. And you find you do have a lot of guys that are out of work over the holidays. So generally finding labor in the actual installers is not that difficult because you have all the other seasonal, like the non-winter jobs, pool companies, painters, landscapers that aren't doing as much. They all lay off. We hire them in.
I'm curious, if you were to advise whether it's a neighborhood that's deciding holiday lighting or retail areas and so on, what are top things they should consider if they're thinking on doing this? Like, where do people get it wrong? When you go out there and you look at people trying to do it, what do they get wrong about it?
A lot of the time you wind up with inconsistencies where it doesn't flow. It's sporadic where they're saying, okay, let's light every tree. Well, lighting every tree, while nice, doesn't always give you the best visual impact. I like to work in negative space. So it's not where the light is, it's where the light is not. Because if you constantly have a wall of light, it's a blur and it doesn't give a good visual image. If you're selective in what you light, so really, I guess the answer is editing is what exactly to do. Anybody can throw stuff up everywhere. But it's the systematic in the that type of editing in the overall design that makes everything better.
Got it.
And the consistency in the products. You can't have one color bow in one area, another color in another area, or have weird colors. If I've noticed a lot, they try to go with festive colors and things like that now. But it starts looking a little like Mardi Gras, which is awesome for the Mardi Gras time, but it doesn't really flow with what most people think of Christmas.
And things that'll create those memories that you were describing where people could, if you do a blur of lights, it just remember it's a blur. But if you can create art with that and create it. That's what creates those memories.
Yeah, we believe that our lighting philosophy is we believe that every light is important. You can make a very impactful statement with a single light. So it's all in the editing of how you edit those lights down.
Fabulous. Well, I'm curious, as this time of year, we're getting into the fall season, what's it like for you this time of year? What do you have coming up? What do you do over the next few months as you gear up for the holiday season?
First thing is not sleep. This is really the busy time, but we've set ourselves up over the past few months and basically since we finished last year to be ready. So we've dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, and we're just ready to go now. We have we've tested all the products. We're going to be out within the next month or so. We'll be working on some of the bigger installations. We'll be at the Battery for the Atlanta Braves and decorating out there. We'll be building a 35-foot walk-through ornament at World of Coca-Cola. And working on some of the really large displays downtown Atlanta. We put all the garland on Peachtree Street. So really finalizing what we've worked on for so long. You've had your spring training and now it's time to get to action.
You remember when Christmas season used to start the week after Thanksgiving?
Yes.
And now
it starts in June.
I remember, I think in August, I saw Halloween stuff start to show up. And I'm pretty sure it's happening with the season. When is Christmas really starting now? Is it in October? Early November?
November 1st.
November 1st
is when a lot of the turn on dates. And it's understandable if they're spending good money on the displays. It makes sense. Go ahead and get them up. It mixes Thanksgiving and Christmas, but the idea is to spread the joy, to get people out there.
So if they're starting November 1st, that means if you want to have a spectacular display, you probably should be starting now having conversations with folks like you.
Very much so. If not a few weeks ago, where it's time now. We're locking in most of our bigger installations, and there are still some slots open that we'll take as we go through. But yeah, there's plenty of opportunity to still get decorated and for us to work with you.
Fabulous. So how do people reach you if they want to learn more about what you do and how you do it? What's the best way to reach you?
First thing I suggest is to go onto our website and take a look at some of the projects we've done. See if it is something that you'd like to do and see if we can work together. We like to create a union with our clients. We're not a one and done type company. We like to create relationships. So go onto the webpage. It's www.illuminating-design.com. That's ILLUMINATING-DESIGN.com. Or you can give us a call at 404-454-8944.
You can also find you on Instagram on Illumin, ILLUMIN. Good. I'm assuming there's lots of pictures there too.
Yes, there are.
Fabulous. Well, it's great to see a local company here in Peachtree Corners, entrepreneurs that are doing really fun business. I got to imagine when you complete a project, you get a big smile on your face, your client. Who doesn't like a business that helps create smiles?
Oh, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
It's fabulous for that. Want to thank you for being our guest today, Bill Frey from Illuminating Design, for being our guest, taking time out and sharing your experience and journey on this and giving some advice to folks that are looking at starting their own businesses that may not be as traditional as others, maybe taking a different look and providing a different service for clients. And we also want to thank Atlanta Tech Park for hosting the Capitalist Sage podcast. If you're starting a business and looking to network with other people, like-minded folks in there, there's no better place to start in a community designed around supporting entrepreneurs and business owners.
That's cool.
I'm Carl Barham with Transworld Business Advisors of Atlanta Peachtree. We help people, help business owners understand their business when they're ready to sell their business, when they're ready to buy a business, when they're ready to grow their business. We offer services to help them all throughout their business life cycle. And Rico, why don't you tell them a little bit about what you've got going on?
Sure. I published Peachtree Corners magazine, just launched that this year. Cities, hopefully Oregon, of what's going on in the city on a bi-monthly basis. We've gotten a lot of traction on it. We're planning the three major stories that are coming in this forthcoming issue. One is the cover story is a pet and their people story. So there's going to be a contest giveaway starting Friday. You'll find it on Facebook. So we're going to be giving away some prizes, but that's one of the main features. The other one is great spaces for your corporate and holiday events. We have a writer out there, and she's already on the 8th or 9th or maybe 10th place. So she's putting together the article as well. That's Patrizia Winsper. And then we have a third piece on technology in the school system, which is cool. So the magazine, of course, you can find my work also at mightyrockets.com. I handle social media content, videography, product videos, a whole bunch of things that different types of companies may need. And that's where you can find me.
And follow us on Facebook, Petrie Corners Life on Facebook if you want to get an update.
That's right. So like us there, because once you like us there, then you get notification of these live Facebook feeds. You can find the podcast, Capitalist Sage, on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere, almost anywhere that FM, I think another one is FM, almost anywhere you find podcasts. You can find this, listen to The Drive, 25 minutes, and you're good. And livingin peachtreecorners.com is the website for the magazine, the podcast.
If you want to keep up what's going on, a fabulous job of keeping up. You go in there, you'll see articles in there. It'll give you highlights on what's going on around Petrie Corners and Greater Gwinnett in general. But just lots of way to get connected back to the community. And please do tune in to the Capitalist Sage podcast and all of the other podcasts that highlights local people in your community, both business owners, political leaders, community leaders, schools.
So we have two other podcasts, Prime Lunchtime with the City Manager, which is once a month, and we have Petrie Corners Life, which a whole host of things that we do and interviews.
So thank you very much for tuning in, and looking forward to bringing you more great guests on the Capitalist Sage podcast. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
This has been the Capitalist Sage with Karl Barham and Rico Figliolini, the twice-a-month podcast with entrepreneurs and business experts. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Want more? Visit our website at capitalistsagepodcast.com.